Hi.
Greetings.
We're in Ray Franz's book, Crisis of Conscience, in the chapter Internal Upheaval and Restructure. So this is the middle of the upheaval.
Yeah, this is
Part.
they apparently have made a decision to make the governing body wag the corporations.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see how that works out. He said this was the lull before the real storm.
Mm-hmm. In the months that followed, the appointed committee of 5 met with all members of the governing body individually and with 33 other longtime members of the headquarters staff. By far, the majority favored a reorganization. The committee drew up detailed proposals for an arrangement of governing body committees to handle different facets of the worldwide activity. 11 of the 17 governing body members, when personally interviewed, indicated basic approval. Of the remaining 6, George Gangas, a warm and effervescent Greek and one of the oldest members of the body, was very uncertain, changeable in his expressions according to the mood of the moment. Charles Fekel, an Eastern European, had been a society director many years before, but had been removed under the charge of having compromised his integrity by the oath he took when obtaining American citizenship. He was now among the recent appointees to the body, and a very mild nature, rarely shared in the discussion, consistently voting whichever way the majority went, and he had little to say on this issue. Lloyd, a New Zealander, and also a recent addition to the body, had come to Brooklyn after a number of years as branch overseer of Japan, where witness activity had seen phenomenal growth. He expressed strong misgivings about the recommendation, particularly the decentralizing effect it would have as regards the presidency. In a letter dated September 5, 1975, he referred to the recommended change as revolutionary. Bill Jackson, a down-to-earth, unassuming Texan, then he has in brackets, not as rare as some would make it appear, had spent most of his life at headquarters. And like Barry, he felt that things should be left very much as they were, especially since such good numerical increases had come under the existing administration.
The strongest voices of opposition were those of the president and vice president, the maker and seconder of the motion, earlier quoted. During the period the appointed committee of 5 was interviewing longtime staff members to get their viewpoint, the president's turn to preside at the head of the Bethel table for 1 week came up. For several mornings he used the opportunity to discuss before the 1,200 or more Bethel family members in the several dining rooms, all tied in by sound and television, what he called the investigation going on, the committee of 5's interviews, saying that, quote, some persons, unquote, favored changing things that had been done a certain way for the whole life of the organization. He asked again and again, quote, where is there proof that things aren't working well, that a change is needed? These quotes, by the way, were apparently jotted down during the session by Ray Franz himself, right? He wanted to get the words right. Where is the proof that things aren't working well, that a change is needed? He said that the investigation, as he put it, was endeavoring to prove this family is bad. Again, NathanHKnorr's words. But said he was confident that, again a quote, a few complainers would not overwhelm the joy of the majority. He urged all to have faith in the society, and that's a direct quote from Knorr, have faith in the society, pointing to its many accomplishments. At one point he said with great force and feeling that the changes some wanted to make as to the Bethel family and its work and organization will be made over my dead body. Again, will be made over my dead body is a direct quote.
Wow. So bizarre.
Since they put the motion forward.
Yeah.
He and Franz.
So it's I don't know. It makes you think, why? Why did you put this motion forward? Was it to find out who didn't?
Loyalty?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. In all fairness to NathanHKnorr, it must be said that he undoubtedly believed that the then existing arrangement was the right one. He knew that the vice president, the organization's most respected scholar, and the one he relied upon to handle scriptural matters, felt that way. Knorr was basically an affable, open, warm person. When he was not in his president's uniform or role, I genuinely enjoyed my association with him. However, his position, as is so often the case, did not generally let that side of him be seen, and again, doubtless due to his feelings that the role he carried out was according to God's will, he inclined to react very quickly and forcefully to any apparent infringement upon his presidential authority. People learned not to do this. For all that, I seriously doubt that Nathan would have gone along with some of the harsh actions that were later to come from the collective body that inherited his presidential authority. I can empathize with his feelings and reaction, having served for many years as a branch overseer in both Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, where I was to be, according to the prevailing organizational viewpoint, the top man, he put top man in quotes, in the country, the president's personal representative. My efforts to act in accord with this viewpoint made me constantly aware of, and again in quotes, position, and the need to uphold that position. I found by hard experience, however, that trying to live up to that organizational concept did not contribute to pleasant relations with others, and that it made my own life unpleasant. The confrontations it produced were not something I felt at all suited for by nature, and after a while I simply gave up trying to emulate what I had seen at headquarters. My life became much more enjoyable as a result, and I found the overall effect far more productive and beneficial.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And one can't help but thinking of that famous saying of Lord Acton, speaking more about the Roman Catholic Church, of which he was a part than any other organization, because it is, after all, the biggest organization in the world. If that rule, power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely, is applicable to small institutions like the Watchtower, a couple of million people, how much more so to gigantic institutions like nation states or the Roman Catholic Church worldwide. So when Lord Acton said it, I didn't know that. Everybody kind of knows that statement, right? But they don't know its original source and what it was about. So we made a video about that. And of course we're talking about the Watchtower application of it, that you give absolute power to one man, as in the case of NathanHKnorr, or 10 men, as in the governing body now, and you'll have the same result, which will be not necessarily a total corruption, but corruption enough to spoil the original intent of that organization and its stated
danger
goals.
In putting too much power in anybody.
Yeah. Put that on your screen. See you next time.